to my YouTube. Hope you're all having a fantastic day so far, whatever time of the day you are watching this. So, today it's Thursday, it's my check-in day, and I've just sat down to eat my breakfast. So I've got my usual oats on my rest day. It's rest day today. I've got my oats, my whey, my dark chocolate, and some berries. So also just filled up my water bottle. So I've got my big Chillies water bottle ready to go for the day. So this morning so far has been a pretty productive one. I got up, I went to walk the dog. So I've got how many steps have I done? I've done 7,000 steps right this morning already, and it's like 8:30 in the morning, 8:45 in the morning. And then I did my check-in, which is the video you've just seen. And then I did my 20 minutes cardio, had a shower, got ready for the day, did a little kitchen clean and put some washing on, did a little hoover. And now I'm just sat down with my breakfast. I've already done all my client messages that I got last night. So I did that while I was on my bike doing my cardio. So yeah, pretty productive morning. I thought I would give you guys a bit of an update because it has been a week. So I'm going to do a completely honest, open update today, just on life and where things are at right now. And also today is week number 9. No, 9 weeks are done. Today, 9 weeks are complete of the building phase. So I thought, oh, perfect. It's a rest day. I will show you what I'm eating today. And I'm also going to just do a little bit of an update on where the off season is currently at. And I'll take you through as well when I do get my check-in back. I will talk you through kind of what's going on with this building phase at the minute. So my calories are still the same. I'm guessing they're going to be the same because my weight has come up again. So my weight this morning was 145.2 pounds. So my weight has actually been coming up at a slightly faster rate recently. So it kind of came up to 144, back down to 142. It's bounced around, back up to 144. And today it's been 145. So again, I'll pop my little log. I've been putting this in every week, but I'll pop my little log here of where my weight is right now. So we're a good 7 pounds up now from where I was at the end of my diet. And we're now 9 weeks into this building phase. I did do that little kind of maintenance period as well after my diet for it was 7 weeks or so where we held around the 138 mark before we went into the build. So the weight is coming up nice and steadily. And my calories are exactly the same still as the last video. So we had 2 increases. We had the initial jump in the food when I went into my building phase from my maintenance phase. And then we've had 2 more increases in food since then. And again, I've already gone through this food so many times, but my calories at the minute are 2,900 on my training day and just over 2,300 on my rest day. So I currently follow a meal plan. My rest day, I'm on 5 meals at the day at the minute. So this is meal number 1, which I have after my walk and after my cardio. Personally, I like in a building phase, off season, whatever you want to call it, I like getting up and doing a bit of movement before I have my meal because I just feel like it keeps things in a good spot. I'm not just sat eating loads of food. I'm still active. I'm still moving. I still like to keep my steps and my cardio in at a decent spot throughout my whole building phase because I think it's important from a health perspective, and it also, I feel like my digestion is better. I feel like I just feel better and less sluggish in myself when I'm moving more, when I'm eating a lot of food, right? So I'm still on 12 to 13,000 steps. I'm still doing 3 lots of 20 minutes cardio a week through my building phase. At the minute, I just do my cardio on my rest days because I feel like it just sets me up in a good routine. I get up, walk the dogs, do my cardio, and then that sets me up really, really nicely on my rest days. So yeah, food today is just over 2,300 calories, I believe, somewhere around there. I'm going to show you my food today anyway, so we'll go through the calories and everything as we go through the rest day. But I have my 5 meals, which are my set meals, and then I also add on, I have 300 calories of choice. So what I've done in this meal, for example, I've added an extra 20 grams of oats, and I then add more rice into my lunch, and I have a little bit of fruit as well. So that's basically what I use my free calories for. Again, I just plan my free calories at the start of the week, and then I repeat them for the whole week. So my free calories on my rest day are going to stay the same on all of my rest days this week, right? So I'll take you through my food and I will show you what I'm eating today on my rest day. But got a little bit of an update, a life update, and also something I am going to talk about today as well is the building phase. This always happens to me, and I know it happens to a lot of women. You get so far into a building phase and you start feeling like a little bit uncomfortable sometimes, and this has definitely happened to me in the past week, I think, because my weight has been coming up a bit quicker, and I'm not going to say uncomfortable, but I've definitely had days where I've been like, okay, I can feel like that I'm getting a bit fuller. I can feel like my clothes may be a little bit tighter. Not a bad thing. And I'm still going strong in this building phase, but I want to talk about that because I feel like as a woman, that can be like a little bit of a scary process, and your instinct is to pull back and go back to your comfort zone and go back to dieting again. But we've got to remember, girls, like, this is where we make the progress. And I'm not gonna lie, I prefer sitting leaner. Like, I like being quite lean, but I don't feel uncomfortable right now. I just prefer being a little bit leaner, right? So I think that is a really common thing that comes up, and I'm 9 weeks into my building phase now, so I'm like just under halfway through what is planned to be this current build. I think we're going to do like 20 to 24 weeks total. So this is where you have to kind of keep your head in the game, think of the bigger picture, and also like just remind yourself that it's fine. Like, yes, you are gaining a little bit more body fat. It doesn't mean that you are fat, and I have to screw my head back on with this as well. So this is just your little reminder. If you are a girl, you're trying to build muscle at the minute, like, keep going, okay? Keep going, stick with it. You don't have to go crazy, right? I'm obviously a competitive bodybuilder, like, I am pushing to build muscle, but if you are someone that just wants to build a bit of muscle, maybe you're not competing on stage as a bodybuilder, like, you don't have to go into this huge surplus. I mean, I'm not in a massive surplus at the minute from my rate of gain, but I'm in probably, you know, a slightly bigger surplus than I would be if I wasn't competitively bodybuilding. So you don't have to push hard. You don't have to do anything crazy. You shouldn't feel like mega uncomfortable in a building phase, but there are going to be days where I have days definitely where I'm like, okay, I can like feel that a little bit more today. And I think that is really, really normal as you go through a build. So anyway, I've got something that I want to talk through because this week has just been a week. I'm actually decided to pull my training down to 4 days a week as well at the minute, just to give me a little bit more brain space with work and life and everything like that. So I'm going to talk you guys through that in a bit, but I'm going to eat my breakfast before it goes cold, and I'm going to read my book as well. This is the current book I'm reading, which I am obsessed with. This is the Book of Azrael. It's the Gods and Monsters series. I am just in a hole with these like romance fantasy books at the minute, and I'm obsessed. So I'm going to read my book and eat my breakfast, and then we'll have a bit of a catch up later. 5 check-ins done of the morning, my first check-in block. So what I tend to do with my check-ins is I break my check-ins down into like blocks of 5. I honestly know some coaches that can sit and do like 20 to 30 check-ins in one go and one day. But honestly, that is just absolutely not me. I feel like I've spent a lot of time over the past few months, like figuring out, okay, what works for me. And I think this is actually some really good advice if you are someone that is, especially for coaches, but if you are someone that runs your own business or even in corporate jobs, I guess, but like finding what works for you and how your brain works. And this is something I've had to do a lot of work on because it's, especially in the fitness industry, I think it can be a very, like, I'm going to say all-consuming competitive industry sometimes. And I think it's the same in any industry, but sometimes it's very easy to look at what other people are doing all the time and think, oh, well, that's what I should be doing. Like what I just said with the check-ins, it's the same with clients, right? I know coaches that work with 80, 90, 100 plus clients, and that's great for them, but that's not me. That's not how I want to live my life. That's not how many clients I want to work with. Like, honestly, if I was working with that number of clients, I would feel completely overwhelmed, and I would feel like I wasn't giving each client the time and the attention and the energy that I wanted to. And that for me is really important. Like I don't want any of my clients to feel like a number. And again, not saying that that's what coaches who have that number of clients do, but for me, if I was working with that number of clients, I wouldn't feel like I was giving the service that I wanted to give. And I think
I've realised this over the years, that for me, having a really good relationship with my clients, being able to get on calls with them, being able to get to know them properly and build a good connection with them. Like, I like being able to sit and have the time to do like a really long check-in if I need to. And I feel like it's so easy sometimes to fall into this trap of feeling like you should be doing something because you are seeing other people do that thing. And like I said, I've put a lot of work into this recently, but it's sort of taking a step back sometimes and thinking, right, what do I want? Like, what do I want my life to look like? What actually makes me feel fulfilled right now? And like, this is something I do a lot of work with the girls that I mentor on a one-to-one basis. It's like, right, what do you want your business to look like? Like, what is actually going to make you feel fulfilled? What is going to bring you happiness? What is going to make you feel like you are getting what you want from your business and your life and your clients, right? So I think that's a nice little take home as well, is like, if you are a coach or if you are just someone who is, this can literally apply to anyone, but if you're someone that is growing your own business, whatever you're doing, like, think about what you want, how you want your day to look, how you want your life to look. And again, this is another reason I've just taken a full week off social media, which I highly advise every so often. Any coach, anyone running their own business, anyone, even like if you have a bodybuilding goal and you're competing, like, sometimes social media is amazing. Like, it's literally how I built my business, but sometimes it can be an absolute mind game for comparison. And sometimes I think it's really positive to just take that time away. Like, this is exactly why I've just done this for the past week, and just be able to not be consumed by what everyone else is doing, because it really gives you that clarity and that headspace to be like, okay, what do I actually want right now? And honestly, having this time away, for me, having this past week off where I'm not having to spend, you know, a lot of time creating Instagram posts, I'm not constantly thinking, okay, I need to share that on my story. Like, just having a bit more headspace to be able to dive into my business a bit more, to be able to have a little bit more time off, if I'm being completely honest, and be able to think about what I want to improve in my current business, what I want to improve for my clients. It's more so like the headspace for me, because sometimes on social media, we can get so consumed by what other people are doing and feeling like we also need to do that. So that's why every so often I like having a week or so off, because I can focus on me, I can focus on my life, I can focus on my business and my clients and pour my time and my energy into that without my thoughts being like going to other people all the time. So that's the reason I like to do it. That's the reason I've done this week. Honestly, it's felt really, really good. Like, the first couple of days I was a bit like, oh God. But after that, I've had like so many good ideas. I feel like my creativity is back. I feel like I've been able to like think without my judgment being clouded from multiple other people. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm so appreciative of social media. Like, it's literally helped get to where I've got to today with my business. And I love like following my friends and seeing what they're up to, and obviously the bodybuilders. But I definitely think it's good to just come away and focus on what you want every so often. So that's one thing that I've been doing over this past week that has been really, really positive in my opinion. And I'm just gonna make a coffee because I'm having a little break now before I go into my second check-in block of the day. Something else I've actually done recently is I've decided to pull my training down to 4 days a week. So again, I've been training for 5 days for quite a long time now. So I've been on a 5-day split. I've actually decided to go back to a pull leg, push leg split. So what that means is on my 2 busiest check-in days of the week, which is a Tuesday and a Thursday, it means that I don't have to train on those days. So I can get my check-ins done. I can get some client calls done. I'm not trying to cram 1,010 things into one day. And again, I think when you also have like career goals or business goals, it's like finding that balance as well with making sure that you still have the time and the energy to put into those other goals. I'm still training 4 days a week, you know, it's still a really good amount of training. I know that I will still make progress training 4 days a week. Might go back to 5 days a week in a few months, who knows? But for now, I just felt like I needed to kind of rein that in a little bit. I'm basically dropping off my upper body session. So just your little reminder while I make my coffee is focus on you, focus on your goals, focus on what you want your life to look like and what makes you happy, because what someone else is doing is not necessarily what is going to work for you. And I've done that recently with my training. I've done that with how I work in my business. And I promise you, it's one of the best things that you can do, focusing on you rather than worrying about what everyone else is doing around you and feeling like you should be doing the same as everyone else around you, because you are your own person. You work differently to that person that you're comparing yourself to. Your brain works differently, your energy is differently, your goals are different. So I think it's really important to like focus on you and what you want in your own goals, and you will feel so much happier for it. Okay, let's go into check-in block number 2 of my Thursday. My lunch, Winston. Let's just move out the way. Bye-bye. Okay, so we've got my meal number 2 of my rest day, which is rice. I've got some tuna today. I swapped my chicken for some tuna. And I've got a load of salad, some coriander, some crispy onions, and a little bit of Nando's peri-peri mayo. So this is my second meal. I've actually used some of my free calories to bulk out this meal and add some more rice, because I only have 70 grams of rice in this meal on my rest day. So I like to use my free calories to just make my meals a bit bigger, because I do get quite hungry on my rest day. I think because my meals aren't super big, like 70 grams of cooked rice is not a massive amount of rice. 40 grams of oats is not a massive amount of oats. So I would rather like bulk out my meals than have like 300 calories of snacks. So exactly what I did with my oats. We've got more rice. You are so cute, aren't you? And I'm just going to have a little bit of a break. That's my second check-in block done. So I've actually not got that many check-ins left today, to be honest. Got a few clients like away on holiday and stuff. But I'm going to read my book for half an hour. So let me just take a second to look at how cute this dog is. Is he the cutest thing you've ever seen in your whole life? No, we're not eating mummy's dinner. I'm just making my third meal. So I actually just had my massage, so finished up my work, got all my client check-ins done, did a little bit more other stuff, and then also had a catch-up call with one of my clients. That was really nice. So I've just got my third meal, which is, got some veg, so I've just had some asparagus already cooked, so put that in there. Microwave, and then basically got 20, this is a bit of a random meal, but I got 20 grams of nuts, and then I basically just got some chicken that I've just cooked in the air fryer. So I'm just going to put this together. This is like so I actually have a meal on my rest day that doesn't have any carbs in still, so that's this one, and then I'll have my evening meal after, which is like my potato, my steak and everything like that. Okay, so I have just finished up a little bit more work. Denzel is hardcore crying at me right now, being like, Mum, please stop working. But I've had my check-in back from Dan, so I thought I would run you guys through my feedback. So essentially it is a rinse and repeat week, which is exactly what I thought it would be. Like I said, my weight is actually coming up fairly well right now. Like I said, when I was sort of 6 to 7 pounds up from my end weight from my diet. So it's just another rinse and repeat week. Same cardio, same steps, same food. One of the things that I am going to be focusing on over the next couple of weeks is just on eating out a little bit less. Again, I'm a massive advocate of like when you're in a building phase, I do think it is important to have some flexibility, because obviously you can't do that when you are on prep and dieting as much. But I also think, and this is something that Dan and I were speaking about today, it's like, even though I am on it, when I eat out, I have my like off-plan meal, which is my meal out once a week. And then if I do eat out more than that, I will basically like make a sensible decision and I will just track the meal in and make sure that I'm roughly around the same calories. But even in that situation, like obviously it's never going to be exactly right, because you are basically estimating. And like last week, for example, I had 3 meals out last week. One of them was my like off-plan meal. One of them was like a steak restaurant, which was relatively sensible. And then one of them was a birthday meal. So I had salmon. So like the salmon and the steak meal, probably not that dissimilar to my normal evening meal. I just tracked it. I overestimated the calories a little bit. And then obviously I had my off plan, which was the barbecue. I had like a little bit of cake and stuff. Again, like nothing crazy, but obviously still 3 meals out. Okay. So I now have a much quieter couple of weeks coming up. So I'm just going to make sure that I only eat out once a week, just to try and stabilize things off a little bit. And again, it's like that thing of, yes, you can have flexibility in a building phase, but if you are eating out multiple times and you're estimating, obviously it's not going to be, it's really hard to like quantify the calories. So I'm just really going to work on just pulling that back a little bit. over the upcoming weeks. But yeah, that's the main thing. It's just going to be really rinse and repeat week, no changes. Like I said, something that I've been really focusing on recently is on just resting a little bit more, essentially. Like I said, I had the break off social media. I've been really focusing on getting to bed a little bit earlier as well and just sleeping a bit more. I haven't actually taken any new clients on now for a couple of weeks, just to pause, solidify, like really work on my actual coaching delivery and my current clients. So I've paused that a little bit. I've pulled my training back to 4 days a week. So there's just been a big emphasis at the minute on just like solidifying, resetting, and I could even feel it in my body. Like even Rimini said tonight when she gave me my sports massage, like, oh, you feel like, have you been stressed? You're like holding a lot of tension. So I feel like this has been a really good focus for like the last week, just to really zone in and focus on that. And I'm really going to make sure now, we're like midway through August, so the next couple of weeks of August, I've got much less social plans. I have honestly been so busy with social plans, like baby showers, engagement parties, like day trips, just a lot of stuff going on, and my next couple of weeks are a lot less busy. And although that stuff is lovely, but I do work a lot through the week, and obviously then when I'm out all weekend, it's like I never get a second to just chill. So I'm really going to put some conscious effort over the next couple of weekends in August just to reset. I've got a couple of free weekends, which I'm honestly so excited for. And I'm just going to really focus on sleep, rest, recovery, relaxing, and obviously working, but just trying to pull things back a little bit, which I think is a massive important part of also building muscle and also just general health and well-being, like mentally and physically, like making sure that you are also taking that time to just chill and pull back. And something that really helped me, right, and I definitely went through this, is I am definitely one of those people that always feels like I'm rushing and I'm like, oh my God, I need to do more. And actually, it's like, actually, there's no rush, right? Like, just take a second. And it really helps me sometimes reminding myself of this, like, take your time, like, just focus on the task at hand. There's no rush, take your time. Enjoy it, get the thing done you need to get done, and stop constantly rushing around like a headless chicken 24/7. Like actually saying no to things and having that time free for myself to relax a bit. So that's my August goal, guys. That is my big August goal. And it's obviously going to help with building more muscle and just generally feeling better in myself as well. Yeah, no changes this week. And again, I expected that anyway, like I said. So we've got another rinse and repeat week this week. And I think also that's a massive part of a building phase. It's like, actually, it's when you're dieting, it's quite exciting because you see a lot of changes. You're getting a lot of, your food's getting changed, like you get more cardio, like you're getting scale weight lowered. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. It's quite like dopamine-y in a fat loss phase. Whereas dopamine, is that a word? I've just made it a word. But whereas in a building phase, it's not the same. Like a lot of it is monotonous. Like you don't get that gratification like you do in a fat loss phase. So a lot of it is you kind of have to just do and keep going. And you could get a really good chunk of a way into a building phase and actually like feel like your food hasn't really changed that much. Like that is so normal. And as long as you are eating enough, like me now, my scale weight's coming up, I am getting stronger. I know I need to put a bit more emphasis into like my rest and recovery and just slowing down a bit at the minute, but everything is moving in the right direction. So actually we don't need any more food. So a lot of it is quite monotonous, like rinse and repeat when you're in a building phase, and that's okay. Doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. Sometimes it's like learning just to sit and enjoy it and like take your time, go with the flow. Don't worry if things feel like they're going very steadily or they're not really changing much, because that is a really normal part of a building phase. So on that note, I've just made my next meal. It's my potatoes and my steak. So I'm actually going to just I've got some client messages I just need to finish replying to, and then I'm going to go take the dogs out for a walk. I'm going to have my meal and I'm going to have a bath and I'm going to read my book. So that's my chilled plan for the evening. And then it's Friday tomorrow, which is super exciting. I'm actually meeting one of my clients tomorrow for a coffee, which is going to be really nice. So yes, that is the plan of action tonight. So I'll quickly finish these messages and then I'll show you my dinner.
Okay, so just sat down with my dinner, which is my steak meal that I just showed you. I literally have this for dinner every night. I'll basically alternate between steak and salmon. Honestly, I don't think I'll ever get bored of this meal, if I'm being completely honest. I'll just happily eat the same dinner every single evening for ease. I thought I would just pretty much wrap up this video. Got one more meal left, by the way. I've got my oats. It's pretty late, so we're going to have to do 2 back-to-back meals. We've got this meal, and then I've got 60 grams of oats, I've got some Greek yogurt, some dark chocolate, but you know what? We can't be missing meals when we got muscles to grow, guys. We've got to get them all in. This is with my apple that I had after my lunch. We've got extra rice. We've got extra oats that I showed you with my breakfast. I also had an extra coffee. I always have an extra coffee every day, so we've got to track the milk in for that. So current rest day totals are 244 grams of carbohydrates, 165 grams of protein, and 76 grams of fats. And I already told you my calories earlier, so I'm not going to tell you those, but pretty much like we're between like 2.3 to 2.4 thousand calories a day on my rest day, and that's where that's at. So just a little note, by the way, off the back of my check-in, I'm actually going skiing in January, and my initial thought was maybe I can prep for kind of like May time next year. But I think I'm going skiing like middle of Jan, and I spoke to Dan today and we were like, it's going to be cutting it a bit fine. So I think potentially we may be going for like a back end of the year prep next year, so I can do the British and the world. So that will mean starting prep like May next year. I'm going to say provisionally because I want to just see how I feel. And honestly, I'm going to be completely transparent now. I think over the last couple of years, with everything that I've had going on, like last year with my surgery, with Will's heart surgery, there was just a lot of stuff going on last year, like family stuff that I've never even spoken about on social media or anything, to be honest. I was a little bit like, am I ever going to compete again? Like, am I done now? Is that going to be that? But I think after getting back into things after I had my cyst surgery, like a year and 3 months ago now, I think after getting back into things and seeing like my physique come back, I do feel like I have made some good progress in terms of building muscle. And I think a part of me, if I didn't compete again one more time, I think a part of me would always be like, what would I have looked like if I'd have got on stage again? So I think I just want to go again. Like, this will be my 5th prep, but I think I just want to, I just want to see what I look like one more time, and don't, like, never say never. I might get on stage again, who knows, in like another 10 years, but I feel like this is going to be my 5th prep. Obviously, as a female, in my opinion, you are limited to how many times you can put your body through something like that. And I still place a high value on like health and well-being. So I do think I am limited with how many times I can compete. But I just feel like I've got another one in me, guys. And I feel like I need to do this myself to like see, to just prove it to myself, right? Especially coming off the back of the surgery. I feel like, I just feel like I'm getting there. And again, this will have been a long time. And I think the last time I competed, right, was 2023. So I think after my surgery, I was a bit like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to do this again? But I feel like I've worked so hard over this past year since having this surgery to just get things back in a good spot. And I feel like I've made so much progress in my physique, and I just want to see what I can do. So I'm going to pencil in provisionally a prep for the back end of next year, and we'll see what happens. So that basically means we're going to be spending the rest of this year in a building phase. It's going to actually be longer than 20 weeks. It's probably going to be more like a 30-week building phase. Maybe do a little diet at the start of next year and see where we're at, and then start a prep in May, but we'll see. But that's going to be very, very exciting, which is super cool as well, because it gives me the rest of this year to really just go, really prioritize my business, really prioritize like just life and being able to go out and do things and have fun. And I'm very excited for this year, guys. So I'm super looking forward to showing you the rest of this building phase, and also just some cool businessy life fun stuff as well. That pretty much wraps up today's video. I'm gonna have my last meal. I'll show you my last meal in a sec, and then I'm gonna go have a bath. I'm gonna have a bath with some Epsom salts. And this is your reminder, if you're in a building phase at the minute, eat your food, make sure you're training hard, but also make sure you are recovering, because recovery, sleep, like, I'm not going to lie, I did reach a little bit of a burnout point over the last couple of weeks, and I didn't realise until I was in the thick of it, and I was like, okay, I need to sort this shit out. Like, I had to come off Instagram, I had to pull my training back, I had to really focus on my sleep, I had to stop taking on new clients, because I needed to take that time for myself just to pull back. And I know what I'm like, I am very much in the mindset of I need to work harder, I need to do more, but also rest, recovery, all of this is important as well. So that's my emphasis for this week. I'm going to get a nice early night, and yeah, I'll catch up with you guys very soon, but I really hope you have enjoyed this vlog. I'm thinking of doing like a little Q&A at some point as well, just covering anything you'd like to know around business, around bodybuilding, building muscle, whatever you guys want to know. And exciting update, I have been working on something really, really cool that is going on next year, but I've started doing some work on this, and I'm going to be talking about it more in September. It's going to be going out there in September. We've actually got a couple of exciting things going on at the minute, but I can't talk about it yet, but keep your eyes out. There's going to be something really cool launching in September that you can get involved in. September, October. That is going to be actually happening next year. So I'm excited to tell you more about this. But in the meantime, really hope you found this helpful. I'll pop some links below, just if you do want to find out any more about my coaching or what I do. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the week, whatever you are up to. And I will catch up with you all very soon.